Hello, and welcome to another lesson from Level Up Mathematics. In today's lesson, we will be solving word problems involving two-step equations. Let's look at example 1. Maggie has a $50 gift card that she plans to use to purchase games for her phone. Each game costs $5, and she has a coupon code for $10 off her entire purchase. How many games can Maggie purchase with her $50 gift card? So when we're solving a word problem involving two-step equations, our goal is to write an equation and then solve it. But before we can write an equation, we need to define our variable. In other words, what is the unknown in the situation? Now, almost always you can find the unknown from the question. So let's look at the very last sentence of this word problem. And it says, how many games can Maggie play? So their question is asking you to determine the number of games. So that's your unknown. So let's say let G equal the number of games she can play. All right. Now, in this problem, the total cost to play the games is going to, let's write this down, the total cost is equal to, let's go back and see what the total cost is. Each game is $5, and she has a coupon off her entire purchase. So it's going to be $5 per game. And then she has a coupon. Now, think about a coupon when you go to the checkout. Are they going to add $10 to the cost, or are they going to subtract $10 from the cost? Well, a coupon subtracts money from your total cost. So minus her $10 coupon, all right? Now, we know that the total cost in this problem has to be $50 because that's how much her gift card is for. And then $5 per game would be 5G, and then minus the $10. So that's going to be our equation. Now, when I write the equation down, I like my variable to come first. So I'm just going to reorder it as 5G minus 10 equals 50. Again, I just think equations are easier to solve when the variable goes first. So I'm going to come over here and solve this equation. So let's think about what's being done to the variable. We're multiplying G by 5 and then subtracting 10. So if we reverse that, that would mean we need to add 10 and then divide by 5. So I'll add 10 to both sides to get 5G equals 60, and then I'll divide both sides by 5. So G would equal 60 divided by 5, which is 12 games. Now, I want to check this to make sure we have the correct solution. So if she plays 12 games at $5 each, that would be 5 times 12, and then they subtract off the $10 coupon, will that equal $50? So 5 times 12 is 60 minus 10 equals 50. 60 minus 10 is 50. So when I plug in my solution, it checks out. In example 2, it says Walter and Brian have a CD collection. Brian's collection is 3 times the number in Walter's collection. The total number of CDs in both collections is 144. How many CDs are in Walter's collection? So let me highlight our question. So our unknown in this problem is the number of CDs in Walter's collection. So we do not know Walter's number of CDs. So I'm going to let W equal the number of CDs Walter has. That's our unknown. I'm going to let W equal the number of CDs Walter has. Now, in this problem, we know that there's two people in this problem. We have Brian and Walter, and they have together, between the two of them, they have 144 CDs. So I'm going to say the number of CDs Walter has plus the number of CDs Brian has is equal to the total. All right. So we're going to let the number of CDs that Walter had is W. All right. Now let's see how many CDs Brian has. Brian's collection is 3 times the number of CDs that Walter has. So Brian must have 3 W CDs, 3 times the number of Walter's. And the total in this problem is 144. So this is the equation we're going to solve. W plus 3W is equal to 144. Now, before I can solve this equation, I'm going to have to combine like terms. So 1W plus 3W is 4W is equal to 144. Then we'll divide both sides by 4. So let's come over here. Let's see, 4 will go into 14 3 times. Subtract and bring down. 4 goes into 24 6. So we know that Walter has 36 CDs. Now, to check this, I'm going to say 36 plus 3 times 36. Does that equal 144? Well, let's figure out what 36 times 3 is. That would be 18,9,108. So 36 plus 108, does that equal 144? All right. So 108 plus 36, that's 14. Yes, so that definitely checks out. So Walter has 36 CDs. All right, example 3. Erica paid $530 for dance classes. She paid a $125 registration fee and $45 for each week she was enrolled in the classes. How many weeks was Erica enrolled in the classes? So here's our unknown. So we do not know the number of weeks. So I'm going to let W equal the number of weeks. Okay, so I know that the total amount she paid is equal to, she had to pay a $125 registration fee, plus she paid $45 per week. That's how much she spent. So in this problem, it told us that she paid a total of $530. I'm going to replace the total with 530. So this would be 125 plus 45 per week would just be 45W. Now, when I write the equation down, again, I like the variable to come first. You don't have to do this, but I like it to look like this. 45W plus 125 is equal to 530. To me, it's just easier to solve when it's in this form where the variable is first. So let me write that down. 45W plus 125 is equal to 530. Now, to solve it, we're just going to use all our normal steps. So I would like you to pause the video, Solve this on your own. Then when you're ready to check the answer, press play and come back to see if you are correct. All right, welcome back. Let's see how you did. So I began by subtracting 125. So 10 minus 5 is 5, 2 minus 5 is 0, 4, and then 45W. And then I divided 405 by 45. So let me do a little ratio table here. 1 times 45, if I double that, I get 90. If I double that again, I get 180. If I double that again, I get 360. Okay, now I'm getting pretty close to the 405. What if I went 9 times? 1 plus 8 is 9. 45 plus 360. Oh, what do you know? 405. So 9 times 45 is 405. So my solution would be W is equal to 9. So my solution is 9 weeks. All right, now we can check that by saying 125 plus 45 times 9. So 125 plus, we know 45 times 9 is 405. And if I add those together, what would that be? 530. And that's exactly what she spent. So we know our answer checks out. All right, example 4. The length of a rectangle is 6 more than twice the width. So they've labeled your length of your rectangle with that statement. 6 more than twice the width. The perimeter of the rectangle is 102 feet. What is the width? So there's your unknown. So I'm going to let W equal the width of the rectangle. Okay? Now, in this problem, it says the perimeter of the rectangle is 102 feet. So the perimeter of any shape, wait, I cannot spell, the perimeter is equal to the sum of all 4 sides. So in this problem, we know the perimeter is 102. So I'll replace the word perimeter with 102. Now, the sum of all sides. Even though they only labeled 2 sides of a rectangle, because of the properties of rectangle, we know this would also be a W, and this side would have to be 2W plus 6. So I'm going to label this W, that's one side, plus 2W plus 6, that's the second side, plus the third side, W, plus the fourth side, 2. So we have to have 4 sides, the sum of all 4 sides, all right? Now, to solve this, we're going to have to combine like terms. So I'm combining all of my W's together. So this would be 1W plus 2W would be 3W, plus 1W would be 4W. 4W plus 2W is 6W. And then 6 plus 6 is 12. So when I write my equation down, remember I said, and this is a kind of a quirk for me, I like the variable to come first. So I'm going to put 6W plus 12 equals 102. You do not have to change the order if you don't want to, but I like to do that for myself. So I'm going to write down the new order here. 6W plus 12 equals 102. Then I'll solve that. I'll subtract 12. So 6W would equal, let's see, what would that be? 90. And then I'll divide by 6. So 90 divided by 6 is 15. Now, the way I can check that here is I can come over here and replace the W's with 15. So this would be 2 times 15 plus 6. So 2 times 15 is 30. 30 plus 6 is 36. So if this side length is 36, this side length is 36. And then if this is 15, this is 15. Now I could add all those sides. 36 plus 36 plus 15 plus 15. Well, 36 plus 36 is 72. 15 plus 15 is 30. And if you add those up, you get 102, which is exactly what they said the perimeter would be. So our solution is the width was equal to 15, and it did give me the units, 15 feet. All right, example 5. Kevin starts with 80 tickets at the fair. For each ride Kevin goes on, he must use 3 tickets. How many rides has he gone on when he has 38 tickets remaining? So there's our unknown. So I'm going to let R equal the number of rides. So here, the total tickets is equal to, he's got, originally he had 80, and then he uses 3 tickets. So he's using them up. So I'm going to subtract 3 tickets per ride. He's using 3 tickets per ride. So his total remaining tickets is 38. And then it's 80 minus 3 per ride. So 38 equals 80 tickets minus 3 per ride. So again, when I write my equation, I like the variable to come first. So I'm going to put negative 3r plus 80 is equal to 38. And this is the equation I'm going to solve. So let me write that down here in the correct order that I want to solve it in. Negative 3r plus 80 equals 38. So if I subtract 80, I'll have to do 80 minus 38. This is going to be a negative number. So 10 minus 8 is 2. 7 minus 3 is 4. So this would be negative 42. This zeroes out, and I have negative 3r. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. And I know a negative divided by a negative is a positive. And 3 will go into 42 14 times. So he can go on 14 rides. So to check it, I'm going to do 80 minus 3 times 14 and see if he has 38 tickets remaining. So this would be 80 minus 42. 10 minus 2 is 8. 7 minus 4 is 3. So yes, that would be 38 tickets remaining. And that concludes today's lesson, solving word problems involving 2-step equations.